Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 566. Today we're going to talk about Roll Player. Now this is a new game from Thunderworks, and I believe this is their first game. Could be mistaken about that. This game is about, simply what the title says, is rolling up your own hero. So a paladin, a cleric, a wizard, a sorcerer. And in terms of similar to like a D&D type of game where you're creating a new character and you're setting its attributes and its alignment and its stats and maybe some of its starting equipment. So they've made kind of a dice drafting game out of that whole process. So players will be, influencing all those different aspects, buying skills and kind of manipulating their alignment, trying to manipulate all the dice that will go in and add to your different attributes like strength and so on. And it's basically a big dice drafting game. So let's take a look at the mechanics of it, and then I will tell you what I think of it. Okay, here's just about everything that you get in the game. So the first thing to note is each player is going to get a player board, and there's a few of these here. So you can see you've got different races. You've got elf, and I should notice that they are male and female sides. So you can be male or female elf. Humans, let's see, dwarves, orcs, halflings, and dragonkin. Let's be dragonkin. And so you're going to choose a race. And then the game says you do it randomly, but I don't see why you couldn't just decide to pick. You're going to pick a class. And usually you're going to pull a random dice from this bag here. And you're going to get the class that matches the color. So let's say we'll be a paladin here. So we pulled a white die. And you can choose to be a paladin actually or a cleric. So as long as you pull the white die or randomly choose a card, then you can choose the side here. So we'll say we'll be a dragonkin cleric there. And then you're going to randomly get a alignment here. So you can be all kinds of stuff. Hermit, neurotic, eccentric, scoundrel, renegade, free spirit, rebel, sociopath. Let's be free spirit. So we'll do that. And we'll put that there. And then we're also going to get a backstory, which has some cool little flavor text here. So you can be an aristocrat, a brawler, a riftwalker, and so on. So I will do aristocrat here. And so you're going to set that up. And so what these do is they kind of give you your goals for the end of the game. You want to have a certain kind of alignment. You want to have certain stats based on your class. This also gives you a special ability as well. And then you have a certain kind of dice makeup that you need to have in this statistic area here to fulfill your backstory. And so you're going to take then a token matching the color there of your class there. So I'm going to put one on the alignment there, and this is going to move around and score you bonus points at the end of the game. And this cube here you're going to keep there until you score at the end of the game. And the back of the little player aid cards here have a little scoring track that you can just use it to kind of keep track of the points that you score. Now the first thing you're going to do, depending on the number of players, you're going to take a bunch of dice out of this bag here and you're going to roll it. So I set this up here for a 3-player game. So in that case, we're going to need 7 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to roll these dice here. And then players are going to then start loading them up from the left to right, however they wish. So right away, you can see what you're kind of trying to target. So your strength at the end of the game, you want it to be 14 to 15. That's going to give you 2 points. So for some reason, if I wanted to do this, I would say that's 11. And then I could do 13, and he gets an automatic +2, so 14, 15, so that would put me in. I probably didn't want to lock myself in though right away like that, but I might do something like this. Let's say 2 here and 5 here, because I want 16 to 17 dex, but I also want a green die right there in the middle. So this 2 cards here give you kind of your targets for scoring. And let's just kind of for fun, we'll put these in here a little bit randomly like this. And so 5 there, and then a 2 here, like that. So everybody's going to sort of sort their dice out, and then you're going to start playing the game. So up here in the center of the board, we're going to have these initiative cards, as well as these market cards. And it's always the number of players +1 for each of these. And you can see these 2 in the middle have a little dollar symbol on there. So that lets players, if they choose those cards, they're going to get an extra buck. So the start player is going to take 1 die for each of these. So there is 4. And then they're going to roll these. And then you're going to sort these, interesting roll, in ascending order. So you get 3, and then all these are tied. So at that point, then the start player is going to, oops, I bumped that one, is going to arrange these in any order they wish. Let's for fun, let's say that was a 1. we'll put it like that. So it goes in ascending order. Anything that's tied, the start player puts it however they wish. And then players are going to start choosing these. So you're going to choose the card. Let's say I choose the 2. So I'll take the buck. Oh, and you start with $5. I should have mentioned that. And then you also will get the die on the card and the extra buck. And everybody else is going to choose these cards here. These are going to go away. And then you're going to have here this initiative card, which is going to be your initiative in the buying phase. So you keep that to the side. And then you're going to take and place this die in any of these spots here. Now what happens now when you place these dice is you're going to be able to take the action. So let's say I put this here with the strength. And if we zoom in just a little bit there, you can see the strength. When I do that action, that allows me to flip a die. So I might turn this 2 into a 5 or a 1 into a 6 and so on. So that's very useful. And then this one here allows you to swap 2 dice from 2 different spots. Doing Constitution allows you to increase or decrease a die by 1, and it doesn't roll over. So like if you decrease a 1, it doesn't become a 6 or anything like that. The int dice, intelligence, allows you to pick a die and you re-roll it. You can either keep the new value or put it back to what it was. Wisdom allows you to bump your alignment in a certain direction that you wish, and other activities will actually bump this as well. I'll talk more about how that works in a second. And if you do charisma down here, if I put that dice down here, then I get to take charisma token here, and then you can use this in this turn's buy phase. If you don't use it this turn, then you lose it. Now it is also worth noting, if you take a gold die and place it, you're going to get $2 extra. The thief actually has a special ability. If you have that class, you get $4 when you do that, and that also includes when you start the game as well. So these can be tempting to take. Now we're going to move into the buy phase. Now at this point in the initiative order of the cards that we took, we're going to then get a chance to buy the cards. And up here you can see the cost. So for example, if I wanted these leather boots, I could get that for $3. This is going to give me extra points. So as you see, this one is particularly part of a leather set. So you get 1, 3, 5, 8 points if you collect the whole set of that armor. And then if you have a purple or black class, remember your class card has a color. Let's find the purple one here, the wizard here. So if you have a purple or black class card, then you're going to get an extra point there for that one. And then we also have here skills. So this one here, you can see this one costs $4 there, and this has a skill that we can use. So at any point we can say, whether in this case during the market phase, instead of purchasing from the market, you may purchase a card from the market discard pile. But you can see to do this, it has a little down arrow, and that means we have to move our alignment down 1 spot there. And so let's say the token was actually at the bottom of our alignment card, you couldn't actually use that skill because you can't actually move it down. So that's a cost you have to pay there. So you can see here is also a trait here, and this is greedy. Now you can see this one actually will move your alignment down the instant that you buy it. So $4 moves your trait down, but then it says you gain points for every 4 gold you have. So you might try to get a lot of money by the end of the game. And so there's a variety of things here. The other thing to show here is some of these items here will have certain types on them, so you can't have like more than 2 hands worth of weapons or shields and that kind of thing, and certain pieces of armor that you can only have. So the idea of the game here actually is like a very sort of diminishing choices. You got to be very careful about that. So as the dice fill up, certain special abilities will get kind of locked in. Oh, and I should say, you can see this is kind of like a gold color here on this last one. So when you do fill these up, you get a bonus at gold for doing so. And then again, you're trying to get your stats within the certain range there based on your class, and also kind of align the dice here. So the way that points are going to be scored here, as you can see, you're going to get certain points for hitting, these target stats. And you're also going to get a certain amount of points for matching these. So let's say if you matched 4 to 5 of the dice in this configuration, we get 3 points. And depending on where your alignment ends up, you're going to get certain points. If you get it exactly perfect in this case, sort of a chaotic neutral spot for this person, then you get 3 points. If you're chaotic good or evil, you get 1, or possibly even lose points if you get it in the wrong spot there. And then you're also going to get points possibly, for some of these skill and armor cards that you collect in the game as well. And needless to say, the game will end once it's all filled up for every player. So you only have a certain number of turns you got to make these decisions in. But that's how the game works. So that is Roll Player. This is a very fun game. It's a very cool theme. It's really kind of evocative of the theme of, you know, creating a character in an RPG. It's got a cool, you know, dice drafting kind of thing. It's a very, very simple game, you know, kind of like I'm going to do this or do this. You know, you don't really screw over other players too much. There are some sort of interactive cards. You can try to sort of take a die from somebody that, you know, maybe like, well, I could take this one, but this one's good for me and it's going to screw Billy over, so let me take it. You know, and like I was saying during the walkthrough, it's kind of like this diminishing space of options. You're always kind of like, you're like, oh, this seems good, I'll do this. But then like you're slowly, you know, getting rid of possibilities, or you might think you are sometimes, and then you have, oh, I could do this ability, move this here, swap, reroll that, whatever. You can do cool different things. So I like that idea. So the game is very wide open. You're like, oh, I'll do this seems good, and then I'll do this, and then as you go along, it's like, ooh, I wish I would have done that differently 2 turns ago based on what happened this round. So I think this is actually a very good kind of like gateway game for folks maybe that don't play board games or don't play Euro games or something like that, and they maybe play a lot of RPGs, or they're familiar with RPGs because they maybe play a lot of RPG video games. This could really, I think, get people into this kind of real kind of, I don't want to say rudimentary, but, you know, very kind of crunchy mechanically type of things. Now, it's not super heavy or hyper strategic or anything, but there is definitely good choices and interesting choices and fun choices to make. And all the time you're like, oh, I'm building my little dragonkin cleric here and doing that. So it's very good in that sense. And I think a lot of people will get a lot of mileage out of this, frankly, you know, showing this to like people that aren't familiar with, you know, these kind of newer board games that we're seeing. I think the game will be excellent for that, actually. So definitely take a look at this one. It's a lot of fun. Nice kind of entry level-ish type of thing with lots of cool choices, and you know, it's kind of the fun part is, you know, you just see your character evolve in this different way. It's like, I've got this cleric who's a free spirit but it's super greedy, you know, or whatever. And you kind of develop that sort of narrative before you've actually done anything with your character. You're like, okay, I've rolled up my character and now I'm ready to go play a D&D game. And I can see people maybe even like doing this before a D&D game, and obviously it's not a one-to-one match in terms of all the stats and different things, but it does kind of like get you in the mood for that kind of thing, for rolling up your character, because that's, you know, a fun part of the RPGs where it's like, you know, just creating the world and creating the characters, let alone going off on the adventures and fighting stuff, you know. So I think this would be a good game also just to get people in the mood for that. Okay, thanks.